This could be huge for CrossFit. Over the last few years, CrossFitters have been dominating fitness TV shows, and this further proves that CrossFit does in fact produce some of the fittest athletes on earth, and that it's a great way for the average person to get fit to be able to take on these crazy challenges.
Look at that power from Dani Speegle.
We saw Dani Speegle win the Titan Games. Which is hosted by The Rock, and it is a seriously good TV show and combines strength and skill and obstacle course racing in a really interesting way. Woo Yin Young won Physical 100, and he is a CrossFitter and a multi-sport athlete, and he absolutely smashed the competition out of the water, showed he was fit and strong and capable in lots of different disciplines. He went up against bodybuilders, wrestlers, mountain climbers, Olympians and national team athletes and came out on top. If you've ever watched Steve Austin's Broken Skull Race, which I love, I would love to go on that show.
This lady's out here to make a statement in the first round.
It has frequently been dominated by CrossFit athletes. Candice is one I particularly remember. She is a CrossFitter, and I think she and another woman were up against each other and they both did CrossFit. We do see CrossFitters in that show quite a lot, and again it just proves how fit and strong we are. And there's a similar story with SAS Who Dares Wins. That's a show that I was on myself, and there were also a lot of other CrossFitters on the show, both in my season and in other seasons. The TV show is a 2-week course, like SAS simulation, so it simulates the SAS selection process, and it is absolutely brutal, and you're doing hours of exercise per day whilst also being starved. It's crazy, and very frequently a lot of the CrossFitters that enter the show do very, very well, and they always hold their own, especially in any tasks that involve fitness or strength. For instance, in my particular series I had to carry a 100-kilo man up a mountain, and of course CrossFit is one of the sports that allows you to build that kind of strength that you need for something crazy like that. But there is even more big news in the TV space, especially in the UK. Zack, who was the fittest in the UK, definitely that year when they had the national champions, and he's always been like up there in the UK CrossFit space. He has just announced that he's been selected to go on the absolutely iconic UK TV show Gladiators, going by the name of Steel. I strongly believe that if this show had gone on for longer, it might have motivated me to like stay in fitness and become like fit and strong like the women on there instead of trying to pursue thinness, but that's a whole other story. It's a really cool show and I always wanted to be on it. I did actually get asked to apply this year, but obviously I didn't get through. But I'm glad a CrossFitter has.
Steel! He's been hailed as the UK's fittest man.
The series was absolutely huge. I remember pretty much every family used to sit down every Saturday night to watch it.
Gladiators takes a bunch of superhumans, which is what they call the gladiators, and pit them against contenders, which are from the general population. And they do these really cool physical tasks, involve jumping off things, climbing up walls, hitting each other with the big batons, lots of varied activities. The reason that this is amazing for CrossFit is that it again brings CrossFit into the forefront of prime time UK TV. This is going to be on the BBC. They did try and reboot Gladiators a while back and it was unsuccessful, I think because it went on Sky, but basically the BBC are bringing it back. That's where it was originally, and it sounds like it's going to be as good as it ever was.
So we've got some great new games that are coming, which we're very excited to perform. We've got some old classic ones as well.
But what's different about it this time is they've clearly picked 2 people so far that are known for their fitness. There's Fury, who I've followed her on TikTok for ages actually. She's going to be the first deaf gladiator, which is amazing for representation.
Saw a gladiator who was deaf or had a cochlear implant, I would be absolutely like starstruck. So to be in that position and have that opportunity, it's pretty amazing.
But she is a professional rugby player, and obviously Zack is a CrossFitter, and these are both fitness-based disciplines. Historically, the gladiators always seem to be, especially on the male side, the bodybuilder types. So it's really cool for them to be going in more of a fitness direction with this, rather than just showing people that like typically look fit. It'll be really interesting to see some of the contenders go against one of the fittest men in the UK. Seeing more CrossFitters on TV shows can only be good for the sport as a whole and start to bring more eyeballs and attention to the sport. Unfortunately, this does mean that Zack won't be able to compete in the semi-finals with his team. CrossFit Team BFG finished 34th in Europe in the Open and 10th in the quarterfinals, so they were set to go to the semi-finals in Berlin this month. It seems as though they've only recently found out about this development, and that would have been because of the nature of TV. You have to sign an NDA, usually at interview, and for instance when I was on SAS I signed my NDA in February January, and then I didn't know until I was literally on the plane in October. And to be honest, even then they could have dropped me because they did drop other people. You as a person don't know until the very last minute, and I wasn't even allowed to tell my boss because of the NDA that I signed. I wasn't supposed to tell him why I suddenly needed 2 weeks off in the middle of a term as a teacher, which is obviously you can't even get holidays as a teacher, so that was crazy. With TV, there's this expectation that you have to drop your entire life because it is this once in a lifetime opportunity that probably isn't going to come around again. They kind of play on that and they expect you to just drop literally everything you're doing, potentially lose your job to have a shot at doing the thing. And also most of the time it's not very well paid, so you're not even supplementing it with an income. I wasn't even paid for SAS. A lot of people assume that you are. The whole thing is like a crazy whirlwind, and until you're like officially confirmed and like on the TV announcing that you're doing it, there is no guarantee that you're actually going to be on it at all. Obviously I'm sure this would have been really hard and really upsetting for the team to deal with. They will have been preparing for semi-finals for a really long time. I'm hoping that the team have an alternate that they can put in place of Zack, and then we'll still be able to see them at Berlin, because that would be amazing, especially another UK team. And alternates are there in the case of like injuries, illness, bereavement, or any other reason. This is comparable to someone interviewing and being offered their dream job that's going to set them up for several years as a career, but that dream job, whether it's on TV or not, means that you maybe have to choose to opt out of the sport, and that is obviously a huge difficult decision, especially when you're letting people down in a team. I have heard a rumour that they don't have an alternate, and that means they won't be able to compete at semi-finals, which is a huge risk to have taken as a team, as anybody could get injured at any point. But I'm really hoping that they can get something sorted, and that CrossFit will allow them some time to sort this in such unusual circumstances. It would be great to still see them compete at Berlin, and I'm sure a lot of us feel the same. I'm super excited to watch Gladiators. I can't wait to see who else they announce for the lineup. If you like commentary videos on TV shows, then watch this one next that I've done on Physical 100 and how it exposes the fitness industry. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.